We are live. Big welcome. Corner's a bit chopped off here.
That's so good.
Oh, hello, Freedom Fam. This is one of our last interviews of the year. We are so honoured and blessed to have the incredible James Yates on. He is a high performance guru and a coach, a keynote speaker, a business owner. He's travelled probably all around the world. He's a family man, a dad. We are so honoured to have you here, James, and interview you, showcase you to the world. You're out on multiple platforms right now, which I love. And share your energy and wisdom and essence with our guys. You know, we've got men, women in the space. We've got young women like us, younger than us. I mean, I'm 27, I feel old now.
Yeah. Not that young anymore.
Not young. So we're really honoured and blessed to have you here. Thanks so much, James.
It's such a pleasure. It's so great to be here with both of you, and really looking forward to seeing what we can dive in on today.
Yay! Yeah. So James, let's kick it off. Like where if for people who don't know you, and especially Reignite Life and the mission that you guys are on, where have you started? Where has this journey for you been? Eating plant-based and doing retreats and, you know, the coaching. Yeah, where has it all begun?
It's a really great question, and for the time we've got today, I'll do the shortened version. But I started my career. Look, I'll go right back for a moment. So my initial focus in life was I just wanted to find a way to live to my potential from a very young age. I remember I was always fascinated by what pushed boundaries for some people and got them over to thriving, you know, at their ultimate potential. And whilst others were just happy to survive. And so I've always been fascinated by that conversation. So very early on, when I was 16 years old, I got into the fitness industry, became one of the youngest trainers back then in the Oz market. And I thought that was going to be my ticket to living my best life, because it would mean that I wouldn't have to work in an office. So I got to, you know, work from an oval, right?
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity very early on to work with elite athletes, some that went on to compete at the highest honors for Australia. And I think what was really fascinating by that is when you look at the mindset of an athlete, and especially a young athlete, human potential is plastered all over them the moment you start working with them, because they don't know any limits, right? And so they're working with this inept ability to sort of call from something within and just run. And so I learned a lot about what it took to go to that next level from an athlete's perspective.
Yeah.
But the reality was, what I was doing back then was trading time for money. If I didn't work, I didn't get paid. There was no leverage in that. And I burnt myself out very, very early on. And so found myself getting involved in different types of businesses, and had a big career in an industry I know you guys know very well, the direct selling industry. Traveled the world. We were averaging about 120 flights a year for a long time.
Wow.
All over the place, and building businesses and having lots of fun. But there was a common theme with that as well, and that was that potential piece, helping people to achieve the ultimate level of success, with understanding that success is not linear. You know, we're taught so many steps in a row at school. We go and follow that same protocol when we leave. But very much, if you look at all the entrepreneurs out in the world, and you look at all those that have gained not just success, I think anyone can gain success, but sustainable success. I think that's the key to focus on here. We have to take care of a multi-dimensional approach. And so that's what I took to that industry. Traveled around the world as a trainer and teaching people on not only how to get business results, but, you know, often we talk about the importance of, you know, sales systems and sales processes and getting the results so that you're able to eat every month, right? But then it gets to the point where you realize that the question's not around, so what volume did you do this month, or how many people did you bring into your business? It was actually around, how did you start your day, right? And you start to realize is the cycle of duplication and that repetition. If you get everyone starting their day right, all of a sudden, you know, you can ultimately change the world, because everyone's playing with a high level of energy. So that's kind of where I came from, right? That high performance mindset. But I want to quickly talk about 2011. It's a pivotal year in my journey. I was 20, early 20s, mid 20s then. And what happened was I hit burnout in a big way. You know, we'd been doing so much travel, we were giving so much energy to others. And the problem was we weren't filling up our own cup. And so, and I say we being my partner, Chantel, and I. And so I remember we got to Bournemouth in the UK. And if anyone's not been to Bournemouth, it's right at the bottom. The reason I went there was because there was a beach there. I had to be in the UK. I could not have a beach. So I ended up going to a beach. We lived there. But we found ourselves at complete rock bottom, burnout. And I think when you're exhausted, physically, emotionally, it leads on to financially,
Yes.
relationship-wise get impacted as well. And when it rains, it pours, right? And so for us, that was a prime time in our entire journey that changed what we now do, or changed the journey to lead to what we now do, because of these moments. And I often say, crisis ignites evolution. When you are faced with some of the ultimate challenges, you can either play victim or you can go after the victorious route, right?
Yeah.
And in that moment, I played victim because I was exhausted, right? And I'm sure if we're live streaming, I'm sure there's people that can comment in the comments. If you felt exhausted to the point of burnout before, drop it in the comments, because this is important. And for the first 6 months, I played victim to that. Why me? I had all this success. What happened? The ultimate story was, I remember waking up one morning, we had minus 20 pounds in the bank account. We'd been paid all this great cash, and it had only just brought us to the overdraft zero, right? It had taken us from minus heaps to zero. And I just remember thinking, how do we get out of this? And I will promise to keep this part of the story short.
I love this.
But
go on.
I met a homeless guy, and he used to sell Big Issue. You know, the magazines, The Big Issue, and to make his money. And I was having a really, really poor day. Like, I just felt like I didn't have the answers. I didn't have the energy to get back on stage. I was trying to find the answers. Anyway, so I'm walking through Bournemouth Town Centre, and there's this guy trying to sell me The Big Issue. And I'd seen him every day for the last few weeks. And I said to him, listen, tell me your story. I just want to hear your story. And this guy, imagine, like, when we think of, it's a shame that we do this, but when you think of a stereotype of a homeless person, you often think, sort of unshaven, you sort of think, they haven't had a shower for a little bit of time. This guy was the polar opposite, completely clean, shaved head, crystal blue eyes, and he just pierced with energy, like just literally straight through. You're like, whoa. Wow. And I said to him, tell me your story. And he said, look, long story short, my wife passed away. I turned to the bottle after a really successful time in the finance industry. I lost all my money and I ended up on the street. But I have vision and I have focus, and I'm going to get out of this and everything's going to be okay. And I share that message because that was the line in the sand moment for me to think, what am I worried about? And at that point onwards, I went home and I said to Shan, let's find a way through this. And when we find a way through this, we're going to teach other people how to do this as well. And that started off a really big journey. Now, I want to just jump in one last thing here before I hand back to you guys.
That's okay.
We were told that same year we would never be able to have kids. So, when it rains, it really pours sometimes.
Oh, God.
And the reason that we were hustling so much up until that point was so that we could be stay-at-home parents. We wanted to be the new age family, right? Everyone at home, teaching everyone at home what we wanted them to learn, rather than, getting exposed to all of this, crazy stuff out there at the moment. Anyway, so that was definitely a moment where we went, we got to change some things. And we thought we knew what health and well-being was back then, both from the fitness industry. And at that moment, we realized we had to unlearn everything we thought we knew about health, well-being, and success. That took us on a journey which has taken 12, 13 years now, which has been all around, how do we optimize our own performance? How do we feed our body with the greatest possible levels of energy rather than depleting ourselves? How do we show up at our best? Not hustling so we win, but so that we can do this with a lot of ease. And we hear ease and flow used a lot these days, but it's that conscious approach to success. And that's kind of what led us on the journey to where we are today. But there was a lot that happened in those first 10, 15 years that people don't often see now. And I think we're in a world where we crave success so fast that we forget that the success is the journey. It's not the outcome, it's the actual process. And most people don't see all of that stuff beforehand. So does that give you a little bit?
Oh, 100%. I was just like, light bulbs.
All of these light bulbs. I really love that you talk about, I think the word is sustainability. I don't know if you might have mentioned it at the start, but that sustainable, consistent access to that flow of energy. So like the ease and flow is really just about how to sustain your energy.
Yeah.
And how to really keep that. And especially when you're in, business and you're wanting to achieve things and you have like a big vision and goal here in this earth. I think that's one of the most important things. So that's why I love what you do, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I think it's a big thing. I think we all understand the concept of this now.
Yes.
We talk because everyone's talking so openly about it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does require a bit of a shift in terms of either a crisis moment to put us into understanding actually what that is, or just having such a goal big enough to go after that you realize that the old approach isn't working. Treading water is not going to work, right? We're going to have to find a way to see this as a long-term game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
No, it's on the list.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, the reason I like to bring this up is because he talks about the fact that it takes 10,000 hours to master your craft, right?
Yes.
And he looked at all the research he had done, and he talked about the Beatles in there and how everyone thought they were an overnight success, but no one had seen that they'd been playing in the parts of Germany there in Berlin for huge amounts of time to practice to become an actual epic act, right? And so we see the glory, but not the story often, right?
I love
that.
Yeah, and it's the thing for us is that 10,000 hours. So let's say you want to become a master at your business right now, or you want to become a master at a certain fitness thing or a hobby or whatever you've got, right? 10,000 hours is 5 years full time, 40 hours a week for 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, most people don't start full time. Normally they're part time, so they're maybe 20 hours a week. If you're 20 hours a week in your thing, let's say your business, that's 10 years to become a master. Expecting results in like a year. And people think they give up after 18 months because they haven't got the result. But you haven't done your 10,000 hours yet.
Yeah.
And there's no way you're going to get the success. Sometimes people go faster, but maybe they've done their 10,000 hours in something else. Maybe they've done 10,000 hours in networking and connecting, and they've already got that as a base when they lead into something. But the reality here is that we have to be patient, and we have to take so much more time. From a mindset perspective, we've got to approach it differently, which means we have to actually create a conversation around how do we actually keep this sustainable for long periods of time. And that's the big piece.
That is massive. Oh my gosh. I'd love, James, because we've actually had a few clients who've needed to go through IVF and have quite a journey when it comes to pregnancy. If you'd love to share briefly on that story, what ended up happening and how the success came about, that would be amazing for
absolutely.
everyone to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, disclaimer is we've all got a different journey. We're all on a different story here that we're creating for ourselves. But ultimately, we had a point where we decided to basically change everything we thought we knew. Yeah. So we discovered the ancient art of fasting. It's funny, I'm speaking about this today. Actually, Shannon and I were just speaking about this. Every interview I've done recently, I've been on a fast. So today I'm on day 3 of a water fast. And sometimes I'm on day 10 and I'm on a podcast. But we did a ton of fasting. I believe 1000% in the art of fasting, as a gimmick, not as a quick fix, but as a way of connecting, mind, body, spirit, and just really allowing your body to do what it needs to be doing. So a ton of fasting. We went 100% plant-based, have been for well over a decade now. Tons of different styles of breath work. We basically really looked at how do we detoxify the body. Well, how the body knows how to detoxify itself. How do we support the body to naturally detox most effectively? Limited exposure to all of the toxic sort of stuff that's out there in the world. If it comes in a packet, we don't eat it. It's literally that kind of sort of approach, right? And so the long story short is we've got a couple of kids, which has been an amazing outcome just from everything that we have done. I'm not saying that's going to be the outcome for everyone, but at the same time, I think what's really exciting about this is when you take ownership in your own hands and you start asking questions, often the answers come. And what I love is, Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, has been talking about fasting thousands of years before it's become a modern biohack. This is ancient wisdom, but brought into a day where we can actually prove it with modern science. So to answer your story, we basically we went through that journey. I feel like we're still on that journey, tons of fasting, tons of healing, tons of, getting over ourselves. Sometimes we've got so much conditioning that's been stuck in us at an epigenetic level. Like our genes have been switched on and off based on our parents' decisions. Now we've been able to prove. Sometimes we've got to go through a lot of healing, right? But again, do we play victim or do we go after the victorious route? So, it's a decision. And once we make that decision, then I think the world opens up. From a business standpoint, it led us to where we are now as well, because what we did is we created a whole ecosystem that would help others to also find their own answers. And so that it took us on that journey as well. So it's been a really beautiful journey from that crisis moment.
Oh, that's so amazing. I just love it. I had full soul bumps when you were sharing with me originally, and I was like, okay, I really want to share this with our community. And it's just showing people what's possible and leading the way and getting people to consider what is health conscious for you. And even if you think you're healthy and conscious in that way, it's like, what's the other level? What's the next depth that you want to go? What else do you want to master in that? And so, this is where Courtney, myself, and Nick will be attending James's retreat at some point next year. He sells out like hotcakes.
Yeah,
actually, it's like crazy.
I would actually, do you want to just touch on that, James, a little bit of like, what you do and
yes,
totally.
Yeah, share that. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess there's two things that we do, right? So the first thing is that we have created an ecosystem, and I call it a life enhancement ecosystem that focuses on products, programs, and experiences that help people to live long and well and optimize their day every day. That's our motto, right? Yeah. We want to help people not to drop everything that they're doing and think they have to change and go cold turkey on things, but just getting 1% better each day, just, constantly just improving on yourself, right? And so the way we've done that is we actually started off as a retreat company where we provide a space for people to come and have great experiences, connect with community, but learn amazing things, experience amazing things. And so they're very much transformative wellness retreats. And we run them all over the world. We've run probably 40 or 50 in the last 3 or 4 years. It's been a beautiful journey of helping people to really just, again, we don't help people to make change. We provide the space for people to make change, right? Yeah. But there's something to see what happens in those experiences. We also have a plant-based cooking retreat. So what happened was a lot of people were saying to us, look, can you teach us how to eat better? And I said, well, I can show you how we eat, but why don't we bring in the experts? And so we have multiple chefs and, multiple mindfulness-based practitioners that we bring into these experiences, and they're beautiful. And so we run them all over the world now. Koh Samui in Thailand, here in Australia. Noosa's our base. It's definitely a beautiful part to be running. And so that was kind of the start of the ecosystem. And then what happened was people were going home and they were going back to their old environments. So they had this great experience, and we know what it's like, right? You go to any personal development event, and it's like you're so hyped, and then you go home, and if your partner wasn't at the retreat or at the personal development event, like you're trying to explain it, and you just look like you're completely cuckoo, right? You're like they're looking at completely different. So we wanted to provide, I guess, a reminder of how to make these 1% changes. So we created a program that would help people to do that. So we've got I call it a cleanse program, but it's not a cleanse in terms of these gimmicky things. It's like a lifestyle cleanse. It's like, how do you start to create these changes in terms of how you eat, move, breathe, and all of these things as well? And then we brought out a product suite, which is all like 100% organic superfoods, teas, and things like that. So the concept was, again, now you've got a touch point to help someone not only have an experience, but also have this beautiful follow-on, or vice versa. Sometimes people won't come to a retreat for 2 or 3 years. They'll be using the products, and then they'll go, oh my God, now I've got to go. Yep. So we create that space for people to do that as well, which is super exciting. So, and then on the other side of things, what we're doing today is where the passion lies as well. I love to be able to share the story. And, we used to brand a lot as like, I was a high performance coach, and it's still everywhere, and we still talk about it like that. But I just share my experience now. And I think sometimes you get to a point where you kind of want to brand yourself in a particular way so that people, understand what you do. But then you get to a point where you jump over that and you go, I just want to help people no matter what. I don't need to brand myself any particular way. I just got to talk. And there's always going to be someone that's one step behind where we are. In fact, there's millions of people right now that wish they knew, every single person that's watching today, they wish they knew your journey right till now, because you will have wisdom that they could call on right now to get over where they're at right now, right? So I think it's important just to share our story, and if one person hears it, it's amazing. If more than one person hears it, then that's just even better. So yeah, I think it's important just to be as authentic as congruent, and just to keep sharing. And you hear so many people say, I don't have a story to tell. Why would I want to share my story? Trust me, if you just shared consistently every single day what you're up to, you would be surprised who you inspire.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so aligned. Everything you just shared. We're going to share with our team, our community. Yeah, we've got a catch-up call tonight.
We do, and there's going to be a lot from this.
2024 is going to be big, so wow.
Yeah, a full soul bumps. Like, just everything you're saying is really landing, James. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. Can you please share with everyone what's happening for next year? What's your plans, your visions, you and Chantal? What have you guys got going on? I mean, it's already booked out. Well, some not.
Yeah, so basically we've expanded our retreats. So we've got more happening. So we're going into Koh Samui in March, which is going to be fun. So we've got a 7-day experience there. We've got 3-day experiences here. But ultimately what we've done is we've created a platform now where we have a partner program where we've gone to other retreat companies that we trust, and we can bring those retreats. So for example, if you were in Italy right now and you couldn't get to Australia, where could you go that still is in alignment with the community that we've created? So we've got that coming out. So basically everyone that comes to our website will be able to access more experiences that are not just a retreat, because there's about 1 million retreats out there at the moment, but there's retreats that make true difference and impact. And so some people say, well, so like what's different about you? And I say, well, firstly, we have 11 facilitators on our 4-day experience, and these are world-class experience sort of facilitators. We have many different types of people come to our experiences that have burned out: entrepreneurs, people that like to play at a high level that may have lost their way, or people that are already playing at that level that want to prevent losing their way. We have such a range of different types of people. So our goal is to serve everyone as much as we can with that. And we're also rolling out our product suite more and more, just to ensure that we just don't want to cut a corner with anything that's brought to the market. So there's plenty of products out in the world, and everything's got its place. We just don't want to be a company that, for the sake of price or the sake of not putting an organic ingredient in because of, some sort of thing that we don't. We want to make sure that we always do it right. So we're bringing out a whole ecosystem of products that are really powerful. And when we talk about these, we're talking about, even imagine like a chai powder, like a turmeric chai powder that you can chuck on your food as much as you can put it into a drink, but has all of your adaptogenic mushrooms in it, has everything that you need to, be performing. And we're not going to bring anything out to the market that I can't give to my 6-year-old. Like everything we do is with that level of integrity, from a product and an ingredient standpoint as well. So it's really important to us. So to answer your question, rolling all of this out next year. We're going to be touring a fair bit around the world as well. Again, we're really looking forward to that. And to be honest, just continuing to share this message. 2024 for me is I feel like the last 3 years has been in what I would call creation mode, kind of just really building this thing as a passion project, and now going out and just sharing it with the world.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited that we connected on this birthing of this verge. It's so freaking cool. That's amazing, James. You're so grounded and present. I think you guys commenting in the chat box, you'll feel that too, groundedness, wholesome, certain, big vision, and a heart of gold ready to help serve so many people to live their ultimate best, your highest potential. That's all it is, letting go of all the crap and bringing forth that heart and what you want to live your life like. So we can feel it. I can feel it through the screen.
Thank you so much. No, I appreciate it. And to be honest, I mean, if that's how it comes across, then I feel like we've ticked a really big box, because it's really important to us. This didn't start off with an idea of how do we create our next business. This was how do we help people get through what we've just been through? So we always want to make sure that the foundation to what we do is based on that.
This is freaking epic.
Mission work,
legacy.
100%.
James, if there's any last thing that you want to share, last words with anyone, any dates upcoming, of course someone can go and look on the website and
share that.
We've got some links in the box as well. But if there's any last thing you want to share with the audience, James, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think, everyone can go and look at what we do. That's great. And to be honest, that's all the bonus if we can help people. But to be honest, the message from my side today is that success is multidimensional. And what you put in your body, on your body, and around your body is going to either empower you and energize you, or it's going to deplete you. And so it's so important that we do a bit of a stock take of what that looks like at the moment, and especially going into a new year. Like, as we know, New Year's resolutions are never, about 92% of people never see them through, and we understand all of that. We get that, but there is still a new energy that can come with the new year, and it's up to us to ensure that we do look and do a bit of a stock take at this time of year of what is serving us and what's not. So my big filter is always, does this thing, person, business, idea energize me or deplete me? And so we go in with that approach. Awareness is key to transformational change, right? And so if we want to change something, we need to become aware of that thing first. So that's the first piece. And if you don't mind, you got 2 more minutes for me to just to kind of elaborate on this. So I work with a 5A model to make change, right? So the first A is awareness, which we just spoke about. The second A is acknowledgement. So we need to acknowledge whether now's the time to, basically make that change, or sometimes we need to acknowledge that that thing or that person or that house or that whatever it was serving me up to a point, but maybe it's not serving me anymore. So it's good to have the awareness. It's also good to acknowledge that piece. A lot of people are really good at those two things, by the way. But the thing that people struggle at, which is the line in the sand moment, is the third A, which is acceptance. A lot of people know it's not good to smoke or drink, but they'll still go and do it until they get to the point where enough's enough. Right. And something sometimes has to happen in terms of something that's driving them. So it's almost like a fear of loss based on that performance, or sometimes it's also, a reward. But ultimately, we make a decision at the acceptance phase. And then after the acceptance, then we go into the next day, which is action. So action is basically putting the plan in place and going and doing it. Now, most Facebook ads target us in the action phase. Here's how to make 7 figures in 90 days, do my course, right? Or whatever it is. It's all action-based.
Wow.
And most people don't even push play on the first module. In fact, if you look at the stats on different courses, only about 20% of people buy a course will do the first module. And then out of the 20% that do the first module, only 20% will finish. So about 4% of the people that actually bought it will actually do something with it. And because they haven't gone through the first 3 pieces. They might have done the awareness piece, but then they've skipped the acknowledgement and the acceptance, and they've gone straight to the action. Once we've gone through that properly, the line in the sand moment, the acceptance, we've walked over that, then all we need is an action plan. And that's very, very simple at that point. We could take anything, as if we're in the right frame of mind and we're ready, we could probably turn anything into anything, right? And the final A is accountability, obviously, to keep us on track. The latest research in terms of forming new habits, we used to teach 21 or 28 days, which is actually a load of crap, by the way, that was based on a book back in the 60s from memory. Someone just kind of made it up that it took that long to change a habit. But the latest research that's come out of the States is showing it's 66 days to change a habit. The physical habit, it's about 1.5 times that. And so to keep us changing those behaviors, which are obviously on autopilot for a long period of time, that's where the accountability comes in, which is sometimes intrinsic. So it comes from us. Sometimes it's extrinsic. There's nothing wrong with having your mentors and your accountability around you to keep you on track, your community as well. So if you summarize it, the first piece is awareness, then acknowledgement, then acceptance, then action, and then accountability. So when we talk about leaving everyone with something here today, it's that go through your filter first, identify whether what's on your body, around your body, and also in your body is serving you. So what you're eating, what you're putting on your skin, even how you dress, and then also the people around you, the EMF around you, everything, right? Like everything, you got to look at this. Is this serving me? That's the start of the 5 A's. That's the awareness piece. When you identify there's something that isn't serving you, you have now the roadmap to be able to change something. And my invitation to everyone, I was going to say my challenge, but it's an invitation, is to find one thing and just look at getting 1% better each day. That's it.
I love it.
I'm just like, I need to re-listen to this and write all of that down. I really love the 5 A's. It was awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance,
accountability.
Action, it is the action one, and then accountability. I freaking love that.
I'll give you a 6th one to finish. Appreciation. you've got to appreciate like celebrate the little wins, right? That fuels us as well. So that's a one you can add.
That's a gratitude piece. It is. Yeah, appreciation for sure. Oh, James, it's been such a freaking blessing and an honor to have you on today. We'll drop the dates for some of your events up below for next year and your retreats, and people can go and have a look at that and how to connect in with you. And please go and add James on Instagram, Facebook. Go and follow.
Do it on Facebook. I'm really bad with Insta.
Oh, okay. Facebook. That's good. Facebook, and follow his journey, like connecting with both him and Chantal. This is when we talk about vibration and energy and high frequency and love and emulating these beautiful energies and frequencies. These are the people doing it. Like James, we've heard him just download and upgrade all of us with this information and sharing his heart and story. And this is your invitation to do that too. And like he said, filter yourself this year. Who do you really want to have around you? Who do you want to be communicating with? Who do you want to be hanging out with? And who do you want to be investing in?
If you start 2024 like that and end 2023 like this, it will change your whole life forever. It's just a consistent thing that you do all the time, and it just changes everything. It brings in so much more alignment. So I really love that too.
Without a doubt. And I was going to say as well, is if anyone is interested in what we do, why don't we make sure that they mention, should we say Vibration Station?
Yeah, love it.
Okay, so make sure they do that, and we'll look after you. We'll do something very special for you. I'll go away and have a think about what that is.
Okay. Thanks, James, so much. All right, guys. Well, happy Thursday. It's 11:11 here in New South Wales, so that's cool. Beautiful way to end it. We'll speak to you soon. Lots of love.